Hey everyone, welcome inside the Red Earth Productions studios for another edition of Youth Baseball Midwest Report. My guest today is Eric Eisen, and we're going to talk a little baseball and talk about some recruiting, talk about some of this and some of that, and we're looking forward to that conversation. First, though, I got to give some love to my guys at Game 7 Baseball. If you're looking for a tournament, you're looking to get in some good baseball over a weekend, Game7baseball.com. Register your team today and get in on the action. They got some great venues down in Branson, Ballparks of America, great venues here in the St. Louis, St. Charles area. They're going to be in Illinois. They also got Tennessee. So great tournaments. Get on the website, Game7baseball.com. I'll spit it out there in a minute, man. And again, like I said, register today. So thank you very much, Dave Penning, Dave Schmidt. Appreciate you guys. Big shout out. Keep doing the good work. Eric, how you doing?
Doing well. Thank you very much for having me again.
Hey, man. Always my pleasure. I love talking baseball. And today, Eric and I, we were talking about topics before we did this. And we were talking about kind of the crazy recruiting stuff that's going on right now. And NC2A's changed some of the rules. And so we have some difficulties, and they've given an extra year of eligibility to a lot of these players. And so we're talking about this and looking at this situation. And so how do we see this playing out for kids coming, 21, 22 over the next couple of years? How are these players seeing scholarship opportunities?
Yeah, I think it's all going to be condensed into, it's going to be chaos in my opinion. You've got, like we talked about, where you've got all the kids are currently at a school on a baseball program. I don't think a whole lot of them are going to the major leagues.
Right.
So if they want to take advantage of that extra year, there's certainly, I think they're all, for the most part, going to do that. I don't know why you wouldn't want to play an extra year of college baseball unless you have a job or something lined up already where you're moving on. But, so I think you're going to have all those players that are coming back for a fifth, or if they redshirted, a sixth year. And then you've got the class of 2021 that's already probably committed for the most part to these schools. So you throw them in the mix, and then now you're looking at 2022s and 2023 graduation years, and where are they going to find a home? It's going to get awful crowded.
You made a point as we were talking about these things before we started the show, JUCOs. And what do you think that looks like moving forward from here? Do you think you kind of alluded you might think that benefits the junior colleges?
I think they're the winner in the COVID-19 era, in my opinion. If I'm a junior, even a sophomore right now, and I can play baseball at a pretty good level, do I want to go to Division I and be fourth, fifth on the depth chart and maybe not see the field until my junior year, or do I want to go JUCO and play at a high level for 2 years? There's a lot of good JUCO. There's some JUCO teams. We've got a couple in the area here that could compete with some Division I teams.
Right.
So do you want to go to JUCO, play your 2 years, and then find a good fit at the Division I level, kind of let everything settle with COVID-19, and hopefully the next couple of years we're out of this mess and we're back on track with classes and recruiting. So that's my personal opinion, is I feel JUCOs will benefit the most out of this.
So in that scenario, though, you're looking at 2024. Right?
Yeah. I coach 2023s right now. We've got a kid that's committed to go to Mizzou, but we've got some other kids that are being looked at by some Division I schools. But again, it's going to come down to, does that school fit a particular player? And as we also talked about before the show, these players are all used to playing and not sitting on the bench. And high school, they're one of the best players because all the talent's really spread out in high school. Summer team, they're still used to seeing the field for a majority of the time. You go to a college and you've got 50 kids that you're competing with. You know, it changes the vision of what each particular player may want to do going forward.
And I think there's a real possibility that you see some of these smaller Division I schools picking up players that they may not have even had on their radar before because of that. That's a very big possibility as well.
I would agree completely. I'm just going to throw a school out there only because I've gone there the last couple of years. Great facility, great field, Miami of Ohio. Now,
Okay.
tough school to get into
academically, right.
Okay, but if you would have told me 4 years ago before I coached the Gators in the summer and went to Miami of Ohio, I would have had no idea what you were talking about. But you go there, you see the campus, you see the field, you see the weight room, everything that they have there. I mean, Miami of Ohio, that they could be a situation or a school that benefits from something like this because what you're talking about, some of the smaller schools get some of that more elite talent because of the bog down of other bigger schools having too deep of a roster already. And I think there's a lot of schools that are probably like that, you know, great campus, great school, great opportunity at different majors. You know, everybody wants to play on a good, solid field in a nice stadium and have a good weight room and all that stuff that comes with that as a college kid. But I think, I do think some of the lower level Division I that are not Power 5 conferences could also benefit.
And that's the thing. When you're looking at the school, I think the facilities are important in the sense of how do I develop as a player? If I'm going here and I know I've got things to work on, I'm a talented player, I want to play, but yet if you're really looking at it properly, I still have to develop. And are the facilities, is the coaching, is the opportunity there for me as a player to develop my skill level?
I think the facility is big, and you just hit on what I think is even probably bigger is the coach. I mean, in the end, when a coach is recruiting a player, how does that relationship between the coach and the player develop as they go on? That player's got to want to have a connection with that coach to want to play for him. And I think that that's a big part. Relationships, as you know, last time I was here, we talked about those. I mean, relationships between coach and player are pretty important.
So I think also then you get into that aspect. Could you see Division II schools really taking that another step? I think there's so many layers to this and the opportunities. And like you said, I agree. I think you're right. I think junior colleges will definitely get an opportunity to be better over the next couple of years. But I still think you've got that opportunity in that Division II, lower Division I levels to where some of these players can go and have a great career. And you may, because does it really matter if you're going to SEC at this point? If you're going and you're getting in a program, you're getting to develop, you're getting to play.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is if you're talking about the Power 5 conferences, one, are you going to get money to go there at this point because they're going to be so backloaded, you know, as we've already said, you know, and then you look at let's talk about the Division II. You know, if it was me personally and I was trying to give my opinion to a player, are you going to go to that school and are you committed to that school, assuming the coach stays there for the 4 or 5 years?
Sure.
You know, are you just going to go to Division II for 2 years and then try and find something better once COVID's gone?
Right.
That's why I would say that if you really want to play or your aspiration is to play at that Power 5 Division I level and that spot's not there right out of high school for you now, go the JUCO route, play your 2 years, and then see what your options are. Like I said, if you're a 2022 and 2024, see what your options are, and maybe there's a Division I school that's a fit for you. So for me, it's if you're going lower level D1 or D2, are you committed to that program as much as they're going to be committed to you? Right.
And I think that's a really great point. There's some very, very good Division II schools.
Oh, absolutely.
Very good. Central Missouri. You know, University of Central Missouri has a good program, good coach. They win. Mm-hmm. You could go there and get drafted. Guys get drafted out of UCM. Just another one that I'm aware of, University of Tampa. I mean, you go down there, it's as good as any school probably playing at the Division I level around. I mean, they win all the time. If you're looking at some of these schools, I think there's opportunity. I don't know if you're that D1 talent. I think our eyes are so focused on that, and that may change our focus a little bit to some of these other opportunities that are there for these other divisions, other schools, because I think baseball is such a different animal than football and basketball. And the opportunities for baseball across the board are just different. And you can put together a good collegiate team at a Division II level and probably compete at Division I.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Right?
I mean, like I said, I think there's JUCO teams that are as good as some D1 teams, and there's D2 teams that are as good as D1 teams.
Right.
We were talking about Central Missouri. I got a text from their assistant coach this morning actually saying, hey, we're setting up a tournament at our field. Would you like to come up for a weekend? Now, granted, our schedule's already set for the summer, but what you're going to see these colleges do is try and get a group of teams to their university or to their school.
Yeah.
They can walk around and watch and see 8 different teams play at their facility, and they make a weekend out of it. So a school like Central Missouri, I think they're going about it the right way. That's what they got to do. They got to try and get as many players, to their school to see what they've got to offer.
With this in mind, Eric, when you're talking parents, when you're talking coaches, when you're talking, your high school coach, if you got a player, right? And you're dealing with parents, high school coach, you're the coach, your summer coach. How is that conversation being had? To give us, your perspective on that.
In regards to
the situation, and the process and what you're dealing with right now.
Well, right now it's uncertainty, honestly. It's we kind of have. My coaching staff, we kind of have a group text, and it's just like, how much further are they going to back up the no contact or the dead period, so to speak,
Sure.
where coaches can't watch or do anything like that. So right now, you've got some big showcases coming up here in St. Louis. You've got the PBR showcase this weekend. You got the Perfect Game showcase in a couple weekends. We're setting up for our own team and club a showcase with PBR, like a PBR Scout Day, so to speak.
Very good.
Because I think it's all video right now. It's you've got to show these coaches, email, text, posting on your profiles with the different companies, PBR, Perfect Game, what you can do at this point. Mm-hmm. Because in reality, they can't come physically see what you can do. So you've got to reach out to them and keep that line of communication open right now. And you've got them dealing with their current players that are on their roster. They're trying to get ready for their season now. And then you've got the 2021s, 2022s, 2023s that are all, in that time frame where they're trying to find a home in a couple of years.
Right.
So for me personally right now, it's telling our guys to, video. Let's take as much video as we can. Let's get that video to schools that you're interested in pursuing. And if there's a showcase out there that we can get you signed up for, that's what you need to do.
And how are you helping parents understand this process? How's that conversation going?
Well, honestly, I don't really deal with the parents a whole lot. At the high school level, I think that I've always been an advocate of you communicate through the player.
Okay.
My general rule is that if the player wants to have a conversation, whether it's about playing time, future, training, whatever, they should come talk to the coach first. And if the parent gets the feedback from the player and they don't like something I said or they got a question about something I said, okay, reach out. But in the limited contact at this point that we've had with our parents in regards to the future is the same thing. Get them to showcases if you can afford. They're expensive.
Yeah, they are.
That's a whole other thing. With all this going on. But I do think that that's money well spent. So my message to the parents, if they did come to me at this point, would be similar to what I just said, is I would get to a showcase, take as much video as you can. Your son needs to be sending emails to schools that they're interested in, making these coaches aware of what they can do, and just sell yourself. I mean, that's what you got to do.
It's a learning process, isn't it? It's learning how to, and I think these are great lessons as you move through. If you're going to be, at a professional level at any point, it's that brand identity. Are you branding yourself? Who are you? How do you promote yourself? And that idea, not in a false way, but this is who I am. This is how I do it, and understanding how that process works. Because it's true in anything we do in life. At some point, you're going to have to go in for an interview, right?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I would say is that unless these parents have had an older son, and I'm just thinking real fast off the top of my head, I don't have a whole lot on my current team that do. This is all new to them as well.
Sure.
So, they're kind of treading water here with everything that's going on with COVID and the recruiting process. The other thing I would say is that we're not a huge program, and I focus really on my team alone. I don't have the reputation of some of the programs in town.
I understand.
So when I get a text or a call from a coach, the player pretty much has to go prove himself. It's not well, we've dealt with Eric before. If Eric tells me that this kid can do this or that, my credibility isn't at that point as some of the other programs in town. So, for me to say, yeah, this kid can do that or this player can do that, they're still going to have to go out and pretty much prove that, because my word just is not as strong as some other people.
Not that you're giving them a line of bull,
Sure.
but it's just the reality of it, right?
It is, yep.
Exactly. And that doesn't mean that, and this is the thing, folks, people, it doesn't matter what program you're with either, too, sometimes. Some of the bigger programs, you still got to go do that to a great degree. Yes, I've talked to a lot of different folks and in different clubs, and it's still the same thing. I've heard a lot of those guys say, hey, it's still up to the player. Yeah, I've said what I've said, but it's still up to the player, because in the end, your reputation, your word only matters if the players you're saying is this type of person, that the player goes
It actually performs
and does that.
Yep.
And that's the reality of it. So you have to be very careful in how you talk to a recruiter and say, hey, I believe in this kid. Because if the player isn't willing to put in that work and whatnot, that's tough on the reputation, isn't it?
Absolutely. And there's tough conversations that I've had before and that I'll have with my current group. Everybody wants to go to those big schools. I mean, and when you're younger, great goal to have. Work your butt off. Do everything you can to try and play at the highest possible level at the college level. But then there's a point in time where you got to be honest and reality sets in. Is that a good fit for you? If I'm talking to a player on an individual basis, is this school a good fit for you? And are you really good enough to play at that level?
Right.
So I think there's some candid conversations that I've had in the past where, a player or a parent will walk away I just played 3 years for you and you don't think I'm,
Right.
at this level or that level.
Right.
But, I'm just honestly giving you my opinion from what I've seen. And, they're not always going to like what I have to say, but I can tell you one thing, I'm going to tell you what's on my mind, and I'm going to give you an honest assessment, and, good, bad, or indifferent, in the end, I want all these kids to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was talking with somebody last week where, they're talking about this player or that player that left my team. And yeah, is there sometimes some disappointment? Yeah, absolutely. Because you want to, if you've got a kid that's played on your team for 3 or 4 years, you'd love to have them all the way through.
Absolutely.
They make a decision to go somewhere else. Doesn't mean I turn my back on the kid.
No.
I may not agree with the situation or the decision, or like I said, I may be disappointed, but in the end, I want that kid to be as successful as possible. And if I can do anything to help that kid along the way, I'll do that every time. So, like I said, last time we talked, you never hold grudges because you never know what's gonna happen down the line. I think we talked that I had a kid who came and tried out for me 3 years ago, and now he's back on my team this year coming up. So, go back to that same thing. It's relationships in baseball, and I think you try and have as many good ones as you can.
Eric Eisen, folks, Columbia Warriors. You got big schedule coming up?
We do, yeah. So we'll go, we got 4 more weeks of winter training, and then we've got the boys will all go to their high school teams, hopefully. We talked about that. But as of right now, the high school season is on. Looks like the Illinois guys are going to get to play as well. So they'll start the first week of March with their high school teams, and then go through about the middle of May, and then we'll get them. I think that third week of May, we'll play local a couple weeks, and then we'll be out of town the next 7 weeks after that. So going to Kansas City a couple times, Indianapolis Grand Park, going to Jacksonville, Illinois, going to Cincinnati, Ohio for Cincy Flames. So yeah, we'll be traveling around, playing some PBR perfect game events. Looking forward to a fun summer. Hopefully COVID is taking a little seat back by then.
Yeah. Exactly. Hey, good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
We'll be following you.
Yep.
We'll be following you, and make sure you stay in touch. We want to keep up with the kids and what's going on. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. Hope the conversation was helpful. And remember, all you pitchers, keep throwing strikes. You hitters, hit them where they ain't. Everybody have a great day in the Lord, and we will see you next time.